All right. So we'll start getting settled in, just finding any comfortable seat that feels good to you. You could sit up on something if you like. You can have support behind you if you like, whatever would feel make the most sense for your body this evening. Once you have chosen a spot that feels nice for you, if it feels safe to do so, you can allow the eyes to close. If that doesn't feel good for any reason, you can just take a soft gaze out in front. That's always fine. I'm just starting to take a few deeper breaths here, starting to carve out this time and space, marking the transition from all that's happened in the day up to now. And seeing if you can keep your mind right here and trying not to rush ahead to what might be happening after practice. Starting to come into sensation of your physical body, feeling the support below you, anything behind you, the temperature of the air on your skin, starting to feel the spine stacking tall over the pelvis, gently dropping the shoulders away from the ears, slight tuck of the chin towards the chest, so that the back of the spine is awake and alert, but without strain. And starting to take a physical inventory now. Maybe there are places in the body that already feel open and spacious. Maybe there are some that feel a little less so. Just moving with a kind eye, just noticing what you find without judgment. Starting to see if there are places within the body in which you're holding tension that perhaps you don't need. Maybe between the eyebrows, around the cheeks or the jaw, the neck or the shoulders, maybe the belly, and maybe the hands or the feet. Seeing if you can send a few extra breaths into the places that need it the most. And starting now to bring your attention to your emotional body, your mood this evening. Again, moving gently with yourself through this part of the checking in, knowing that all that's coming up is valid. There are no good or bad emotions. It just is what there is. And just taking stock of what is present for you this evening. Moving the attention to your mental body, the activity of the mind, the speed of your thoughts. Maybe if you're just coming off of the workday, the mind is still quite active, whizzing from thing to thing. Maybe you've had some time to separate and it's moving a bit more slowly, or maybe somewhere in between. And lastly, coming into awareness of your breath, and starting to notice the rhythm, the depth, the cadence, maybe the temperature. Noticing whether the breath feels smooth and round, quick or slow. maybe ragged or choppy even. Noticing the path the breath wants to take in the body. Where does it flow first and most easily? And where does it feel a little harder to send it? And starting now to smooth out the edges of the breath. So you can feel the transition between the inhale and the exhale, and back to the inhale. And for our practice today, we'll continue to work with that theme of tapas, which is that concept in yogic philosophy of a luminous, transformative heat. And we build it both in the physical body through our postures, our asana work, and using that as a template to apply it in a more metaphorical sense, a sense of burning off what is no longer working so that we have room for where we want to go and how we want to show up in the world. We'll hold those concepts with us as we move through our practice this evening. Taking 2 more full breaths. And gently, if the eyes are closed, starting to blink them open, or just sharpening your gaze. Starting just with some gentle movement of the shoulders, starting to take the shoulders up and back, creating circular motion. And the speed is up to you, just following your own breath rhythm a few more times around. Once you feel fairly steady with this, taking it a little bit larger, adding in the elbows, starting to drive the circles now with the tips of the elbows, scooping out the air around you. Well, once that feels pretty steady, then extending to the whole arm, making big sweeping circles through the air, now tracing with the fingers. Maybe 1 or 2 more full times around, keeping the breath smooth and even. And then ending with the hands reaching up towards the sky, taking a moment to allow the hands to reach, but the neck to be nice and relaxed. And then we'll take a shoulder stretch here, and there'll be 2 options. The first, you can turn the palms to face the front of the room, then bend at the elbows, sending the forearms over your head. Turn the palms to touch and meet the palms over the crown of the head. And then keeping the belly engaged, lower ribs in, start to take the hands over the head. If this feels like a lot in the shoulders, you can also have your hands resting on your hips. Roll the shoulders back and squeeze the elbows together, shoulder blades bringing themselves down the back. Either way is okay, whatever you choose. 1 more full breath wherever you've landed. And then gently exhaling the hands back in front of the heart. This time on the inhale, extending the arms out in front of you, palms facing down. And then again, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, then starting to pump the fingers in and out as if you were creating fireworks with your hands. Keeping the breath smooth and steady, just warming up through the wrists, the fingers, the forearms. And then keeping the fingers pumping, turning the palms to face the ceiling now. The underside of the arm facing up. Still strong, full reach through the fingers. And now turning the palms to face one another, thumbs facing the ceiling, still keeping that opening and closing action with the hands. Feeling a little bit of heat building in the arms already here. And then last piece, raising the arms overhead into a big wide V, still keeping the fingers opening and closing. No tension in the neck, just working through the arms. 1 more full breath. And then starting to knit the hands together in front of the heart, fingers connect. And then starting to just trace the shape of a figure 8 with your knuckles. So warming through the wrists a little more here. And seeing if you can scramble your brain and try to go the other way. Create your eights in the other direction. And then shaking out the fingers, the hands. And then gently we'll start to make our way towards hands and knees on the mat. So if you were sitting on something, you can just gently move it to the side. We'll come towards hands and knees. And as always, once you are in this shape, the first few breaths are just for you. So doing any movement that would feel good. Maybe some spine waves are calling you. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side. Maybe making spirals through the torso. Can bend one elbow at a time to get into the shoulder blades. Even playing around with the feet. Really whatever you need to come awake from the day, especially if you spent some time sitting today. Just working in a way that feels good to your body. Or maybe 3 or 4 more full rounds of breath here. Starting to come towards a little bit of stillness now in your shape. And then starting to sit the hips back towards the heels and then bring the forearms down towards the floor. So you're in sort of a folded up Sphinx pose here. So the elbows are right underneath the shoulders, forearms flat on the floor, and the lower part of the body is sort of like a child's pose. From here, you'll inhale to bring the left hand behind your head. And then pushing into the right forearm on the next inhale, starting to twist the body open towards the left. Left elbow wanting to reach up towards the sky. And then gently releasing back towards the floor on the exhale. And we'll take that twice more. Inhale to push the right forearm into the floor. Reach that left elbow up towards the sky. Gently release back down towards the earth on the exhale. Last time. Inhale your way up, really feeling that twist coming from the middle spine here, opening through the collarbones. And then exhaling back to the earth, allowing the left forearm to come back down to the ground. And then inhaling to take the right fingers behind the head. And this time on the inhale, pressing into the left forearm to turn your body towards the right. Right elbow now, aiming somewhere towards the sky. And then exhaling to fold back forward, right elbow towards the earth. Twice more. Inhale to push the left forearm down, reaching the right elbow up. And then exhale, gently release back towards the floor. Last time. Inhale, really big and open, turning through the rib cage. Squeeze that right shoulder blade back. And then gently exhaling your way back down. Right forearm can find the earth. And then you'll inhale your way back up towards your hands and knees. This time, checking to see that the hands are just slightly ahead of the shoulders, but the knees are right underneath the hips. Nice, yeah. From here, inhaling to stretch your left leg back towards the back of the mat. Left leg is lifted in the air, left toes pointed down towards the mat. Little push with the hands into the mat to separate the shoulder blades. Starting to turn on the low belly muscles here as if you were trying to scoop belly up and away from the floor. One more breath here. And then on the next exhale, stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So the left foot really wide on the mat here. You can stay with your palms down, or if you feel like you need more space, you can feel free to come up onto your tented fingertips. Either way is okay. Wherever you have your hands, we'll start to take some circles around that left hip. Starting to go in one direction, just sweeping out the cobwebs of the hip joint. And then gently changing directions, going the other way. You may find you have more freedom in one way than the other, and that's just fine. Just noticing what you're coming across. One more time around. And then we'll come back into some stillness here. And then start to get light on the fingers so that on your inhale, you can sweep both arms up towards the sky, coming in towards your low lunge. Your option here, if you'd like this much space, you can keep the left foot really wide. If you'd like, you can also walk that left foot a little bit closer in so that you can get your hands down on either side in a moment. Either way is okay. We'll inhale to reach the arms for one last breath. And then on the exhale, starting to tip your hips back. Hands will find somewhere to land, either on your blocks or the mat. Your left knee will straighten out any amount. So if you have that left foot more towards the middle of the mat, your hands will go on either side of that leg. If you kept your left foot really wide, then both hands can come to the inside. Either way is okay. One more breath here. Then on the inhale, rebending your left knee and sweeping the arms back up to the sky, coming back to your full low lunge. And then we'll take that twice more. You got it. Reaching up on the inhale. Exhale to take it back. Hips start to shift. Hands find the mat, somewhere to land. Left knee straightens any amount. Just a breath here. And then inhale your way forward, rebend the left knee, sweep the arms back up to the sky. And then this last time we'll hold the stretch a bit longer. So we'll inhale to reach, and then exhale, tip it back. Use your belly to help you get your hips back. Hands find somewhere to land. This time on the inhale, lengthening out through the spine. And on the exhale, relaxing down, folding over that left leg. And if that left knee wants to stay a little bit bent, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. Just as long as the low spine is long. One more deep breath here. And gently inhaling to rebend the left knee. Sweep the arms back up to the sky. One last breath here. And then on the exhale, folding both hands, coming down to the inside of that left foot on the mat. Pressing the hands into the mat so that you can sweep your left leg back behind you once again, coming back into this three-legged shape here. A few options for the balance here. You can stay just as you are, pressing the hands into the earth. If you'd like a little more work in the shoulders, coming up onto the tented fingers of both hands. And then either way, if you'd like a little bit more core work here, you can inhale your right hand towards your chest, balancing just on your 2 points now. You could do that on your tented fingers or on your flat palm. Either way, feeling that scooping sensation in the low belly, left toes facing down towards the mat. One more full breath. And then on your exhale, allowing all the limbs to find the earth, palms come flat once again. And we'll take the second side. So we'll inhale to sweep your right leg long behind you. Take a moment to arrive in the shape on this side, pressing the hands firmly into the mat. That will help you spread your shoulder blades, activate those muscles on the upper back. One more moment here. And then exhale to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Again, for this first round, it can be pretty wide on the mat. And then choose your hand position, either staying flat on the palms or coming up onto tented fingers. You could even go up on blocks if you need to. But then we'll start to take those hip circles around the right hip. Smooth and steady, just moving with your own breath. Noticing that what you find on this hip might be different than what you found on the other side. And gently switch your directions. Just keeping the breath smooth and steady here. Easy rhythm, one more circle. Then starting to come to a halt here. And then gathering up the strength in the legs, get a little lighter on the fingertips. So on the inhale, you can reach both arms up to the sky, coming into your low lunge on the second side. As you like with that front foot, it can stay really wide. And then when we drop down, you'll take the hands on the inside. Or you can walk that right foot a little closer to the center of the mat. So either you get more of a stretch in the outer hip or more of a stretch in the hamstring. Your choice. But here we go together. We'll inhale to reach, and then exhale, tip the hips back. Right knee straightens any amount. Hands find the ground, either on either side of that leg or both on the inside if you have it wider. One breath here. And then gently inhaling to rebend your right knee. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Come back to your low lunge. Yes, y'all, really nice. We'll do that twice more. Inhale to reach. Exhale to scoop the belly back. Hips come back, hands find the mat. One breath here. And then inhaling, rebend the front knee. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Here's our last time with a little bit of a hold. Inhale to reach. Exhale to scoop it back. Once your hands find their place to land, this time on the inhale, extending the spine long. On the exhale, gently folding over that right leg. Again, right knee can be pretty bent as you like. You can also take your hands up higher. Both those will ease the strain on the back of that right leg. And smooth, steady breath wherever you are. And gently on the inhale, rebending that right knee, sweeping both arms up to the sky. One last breath in your low lunge. And then exhaling both hands to the mat on the inside of that right foot. Pressing the hands into the mat so that you can sweep your right leg long behind you. Coming back to that starting position here. And again, your same options. You could work your balance just like this, pulling the belly away from the mat, pushing the hands down. Or you can come back to those tented fingertips, working the shoulders a little bit more. And then either palm position, if you'd like to work the belly even more, you'll inhale your left hand towards your heart. Pushing strongly back through that right heel. Yes, really nice, yeah. Chin stays long. Mine is a little lifted because I'm looking at you. Good. One more breath. And then on the exhale, gently allow all the limbs to find the earth. Palms come flat. And then we'll grip the mat with the fingertips. Kickstand the toes. Inhale to prepare. And then on the exhale, push the hands into the mat so you can lift your knees off the mat just an inch. So you're in this hovering tabletop position here. Really now feeling that tapas starting to come into the shoulders, coming into the belly. One more full breath. And then gently on the exhale, send the hips high to the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. Adjusting the feet as you need. And then for this first down dog of the practice, this is just your free time in your downward facing dog. You can walk the hips out, you can pedal the feet back and forth, you can wag your tail, you can take some pressure off the arms if you like. It's your time to experiment with this shape. And if at any point in time it feels like too much, you can always come back down to the mat. You could also take at any point in time when we're doing down dog, you can always come to puppy pose, which looks like this. You can keep the hips really high, the forehead comes down and the arms reach forward. That's a lot of the similar work in the upper body to down dog, so it's always an option. Wherever you are, now trying to settle into this shape. And then we'll come rolling forward towards your plank. If that sounds like it's going to be too much, you can always come back down to your hands and knees, and you can start to roll forward towards your half plank. If you're in your full down dog, on the inhale, you'll come high up on the toes, and then scoop in through the low belly, coming up slowly, one vertebra at a time, as if you were coming up and over something. And then holding for a breath when you're in your high plank. And if you're in your half plank, if the knees are down, your hips are scooped under. So you look like a little diagonal line between your shoulders and your knees, like this. Hi, Cora. One more breath wherever you are. And then gently push back. If you're on your knees, push back through hands and knees, and then all the way back up towards your downward facing dog. Just a breath this time. And then we'll inhale to look forward, bend the knees, and then take a little walk to the top of the mat. The knees can stay really bent when you arrive. And then you'll press into the feet, sweep the arms out and around towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Great. From here, we'll take a big inhale to step back with your right foot towards the back of the mat. So you're coming into your high lunge legs. Yes. So you've got your left leg bent in the front, right leg is strong and straight behind you. Taking a moment to make sure that you feel balance in the legs. If you feel wobbly at all, you can take the feet wider apart. Once you have your feet, then we'll inhale both arms back up to the sky, coming into your full high lunge position. We'll take that shoulder stretch one more time so you'll get your same option. If you're keeping the arms lifted, you'll turn the palms to face the front of the room, bend at the elbows to send the arms over the head, hook the palms together, and push the arms behind you. If you're taking the second option, I see some of you are already there, hooking the hands at the waist, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbow tips to the wall behind you. This is a really nice stretch for the collarbones, front of the shoulder, but a little less load through the rest of the arm. A really good option here. One more full breath. And then gently allow the hands to come down to the sides and then refold at your heart. Great. From here, we'll hinge forward on the exhale. So hinging forward over that left hip. And then we'll start to bring the hands down on either side of that front foot. You can stay up on your tented fingers or you could use blocks. If it feels too congested to have the torso this close to the leg, you can put both hands on the inside of that front foot and walk that left foot really wide. That will give you a lot more space. Either way is fine. You just decide what your body is up for today. Whatever you choose, on the next inhale, bending a little more deeply into the left leg, looking forward. And then on the exhale, use your belly, start to lift the hips towards the sky. Left knee now straightening any amount. It does not have to go all the way straight. You choose. Just staying for just a breath this first round. And then inhale to rebend into the left knee, starting to look forward. So coming back into that little runner's lunge shape. And then exhale, scissor the legs together. Send the hips up towards the sky. Left knee straightens any amount and you're looking back towards your back leg. Last full time through. Inhale to rebend the left knee. Look forward. And then exhale, hips to the sky. Use the power of the belly. Holding here this time. Again, this left leg doesn't have to be all the way straight, just to your degree. Wherever you are, see if you can tip the left hip back a little and the right hip forward a little. Relaxing the head and the neck, maybe even shake them gently from side to side. One more smooth breath. And gently rebend that left knee, look forward, and start to gather the strength in the legs. Come lighter on the fingers, so that on your next inhale, you can gently sweep your arms all the way back up, coming back into your full high lunge. Yes, y'all, really nice. From here, exhaling your hands back to your heart, then hinge forward over that left foot so that you can step your right foot to the top of the mat. Yes, got it. And we'll take one arm circle to clear that side. Inhaling the arms out and around up towards the sky. And then exhaling hands to your heart. And then this time on the inhale, we'll step back with your left foot. So coming into your high lunge legs. This time with the right knee in front, left leg strong and straight behind you. Once again, checking to make sure that each leg is in its own lane. So you have plenty of space between the feet, particularly if you're questioning your balance here. Once you feel steady in the feet, then inhaling the arms up overhead, coming into that full high lunge shape. And then we'll take one last time of your shoulder stretch. So if you like, sweeping the arms out to the side, hook the hands at your waist, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows together. Shoulder blades working really hard here. Yes, this looks nice, y'all. One more smooth, steady breath here. And then gently releasing the hands down to the sides and then returning the hands towards the heart. On your next exhale, hinging forward over that right hip. And then you choose either hands coming down onto the either side of that front foot, tented fingers or blocks, or walk that right foot really wide and allow both hands to come down to the inside of that foot. Either way is perfectly fine. And you might choose a different option than you did on the first side, and that's fine too. Wherever you are, on the inhale, re-bending more to that right knee, looking out over the edge of the mat. And then exhale, scissor the hips up towards the sky, straightening that right leg any amount, looking back towards your back leg. Then gently on the inhale, re-bending that right knee, looking forward, runner's lunge here. And then exhaling, take it up, use your belly, squeeze the feet towards one another as you straighten that right leg any amount, look back towards your left. On the inhale, gently re-bend your front knee, look out over the mat. Here's our last time. Exhaling to sweep those hips up towards the sky, holding steady here this time when you arrive. Again, bending that right knee if you need to, but seeing if you can now take the right hip back a little and the left hip forward a little. Smooth, steady breath rhythm here. Shaking the head gently from left to right if you like. Make sure you're not holding on. And then on your inhale, gently re-bending that front knee. Pausing here to gather the strength in your legs. Come lighter on your hands. But on your inhale, you can sweep your arms all the way back up to the sky, coming back to your high lunge. Yes, really nice. One last breath here. Then exhaling, hands to your heart. Hinging forward over that right hip so that you can now step your left foot to the top of the mat. Great. Then we'll take our arm circle, inhaling the arms out and around, reaching up towards the sky. And then exhaling through your center line, this time hinging at your hips, bringing the hands down towards the mat. Bending the knees as much as you need to get a firm purchase through the hands. Once you have your hands planted, then two options. One, you can step straight back towards your downward facing dog. Two, you can come down to your hands and knees. Either way is okay. And then we'll take our rippling forward to plank or half plank. So I'll show it from this way to half plank this time. But if you're in your down dog, you'll come to your full plank. And we'll start together on the inhale, scooping forward through the belly, one vertebra at a time, taking the whole inhale to arrive. And then you're either landing in your half plank, which is like what I'm doing right now, or your full plank. Yes, that's it. Scooping the belly in and up wherever you are, pressing the hands into the mat. And then gently on the exhale, pushing back through your hands and knees. And then tucking the toes under and carefully pressing yourself back up towards your downward facing dog just for a breath. And then inhale to look forward, bend the knees. And then again, take a walk to the top of the mat. Press the feet into the ground, sweep the arms out and around, reaching up towards the sky. And then exhaling, hands to your heart. Really nice, yeah. Okay, from here, inhale the right foot, big step back to the back of the mat, coming back into your high lunge legs. This time, just for a moment, checking to make sure that each foot still has its own lane. And then on the exhale, you'll start to seal up that right foot on the mat. So full right foot, making connection with the mat now, coming down towards your warrior one legs. So that right foot is pointing still fairly forward. It's a little bit of an angle. Checking to see that the bony hip points are facing straight forward. Sometimes it feels like that right hip wants to pull towards the back. If that's happening, step your feet wider apart. Once you feel strong and confident in the legs here, then we'll inhale the arms up to the sky, just for a breath, arriving in your full warrior one. Then we'll have several arm options again here. The first one is the one we've been playing with, hands to the hips, squeezing the shoulder blades together and pointing the elbows back. Option two, you can hook opposite elbows behind your back. So you're sort of giving yourself a backwards facing hug. Option three, maybe the arms extend, interlacing the fingers, and you pull your arms away from the body. Any of those three options are completely fine. They all feel a little different in the shoulders, so choose which one feels the best. You're still hanging out with your warrior one legs here on the bottom. And then from here, we'll inhale the spine long, and then keeping whatever arms you've chosen on the exhale, starting to hinge forward, coming into this little arrow shape. So you're halfway through. Yep, head staying in line with the body. Yes, good. Then on the inhale, keeping the arms as they are, just lifting the torso back up to neutral. You got it. We'll take that twice more. Inhale to strongly reach the spine. And then exhale, pitching forward into that hover. So just stopping with the torso parallel to the earth. Yes, good. Then inhaling your way up. One last time. When your exhale rolls around, hinging forward. If you've got the arms behind you, reaching the hands away from you as the crown of the head reaches out towards the front of the room. And then gently on the inhale, returning back to neutral, shaking out the hands. One last sweep of the arms all the way up to the sky, arriving in your warrior one for just one last breath. Then exhaling, hands to your heart. Hinging forward over that left hip so you can step your right foot to the top of the mat. We'll take one arm circle to sort of free up the shoulders. So we'll inhale the arms out and around up towards the sky, and then exhaling, hands to the heart. And then this time on the inhale, stepping the left foot back to the back of the mat. Big, long reach. So starting in that high lunge leg position, making sure the feet are pretty wide apart. And then sealing up that back foot so that the back foot is now firmly planted on the mat. The back toes pointing in at a little bit of an angle, and then checking again to see that your bony hip points are both facing straight forward. If you find now that the left hip wants to spin open, take the feet a little wider so that your pelvis has plenty of room to land between your legs. There you go. Great. Then on the inhale, reaching the arms up to the sky, just a breath. And then you choose your arm position, same options. Either hands on your hips, elbows pointing back, hands hugging yourself behind your back, hooking opposite elbows, or hands can clasp and you can reach the arms behind you. Whatever you chose the last time, you can let that guide you, or you can choose something new this time. Either way, inhaling the spine long on the inhale, and then exhale coming into that hover, hinging now over the right hip, stretching the crown of the head towards the front of the space. Then inhaling your way back up, strong spine. And then exhaling to tip it forward, turning on that right glute as you hinge forward. Wherever the arms are, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And inhaling back up to neutral. And then one last time, exhaling forward into your hover. So nice, y'all. One more breath. And inhaling the spine back up, gently shaking out the arms, keeping the legs as they are. And then one last time, sweeping the arms all the way up to the sky, coming to rest in your warrior one for just a breath. Then exhaling, hands to your heart. Hinge forward over that right hip so you can step your left foot to the top of the mat. All right. From here, you can choose either feet will be right underneath your hips, so you have a little bit of space between them, or you can bring the feet together, big toes touching and heels a little bit apart. Whatever feels best for your pelvis is what you'll go with. For me, it feels better to have my feet apart a little bit, but you choose. We're going to come towards chair pose. So we'll inhale the spine straight up and down, and then exhale to sit your hips back as if you were sitting down in a chair. Arms stay folded at your heart to start. Scooping in the belly, so feeling that same fire that we've been working with. So we take some of the arch out of the spine. So this is like a little duckbill here. I'm going to pull my belly in so I can pull the spine down. Yes, nice, y'all. From here, we'll inhale the arms straight out in front. So parallel to the earth, hands facing each other. You could stay right here and work this. This is a fair amount of work. Or if you'd like to take a little balance, on your inhale, you'll sweep the arms down, come up onto your toes. Oh, yes. Then exhale, heels come down, arms reach forward. Nice, y'all. Here we go. Inhaling, press the palms back, come up onto the toes. Exhale, heels down, arms reach forward. You got this. One more time. Inhale, arms back, come high up onto the toes. Exhale, heels down, arms forward, holding here. One last breath. And then exhale, straighten the legs, tip it forward. Hands come towards the earth. This time, taking the feet pretty wide, almost as wide as the mat. Then your hands can trail along the ground as you sway from side to side. You can bend your knees here if you need to, that is fine. Just allowing the shoulders and the head to relax a little bit for a moment. Good. One more breath and you're hang out here. Great. And then walking the hands a little bit forward so you can again get a really solid purchase on the earth. And then your two options, once again, stepping right back towards your downward facing dog, or placing the knees down and coming to your tabletop here. Either way is fine. Looks like we're going for tabletop all around. So we'll go stay here. We'll take one ripple forward to your half plank, scooping in the belly, taking your whole inhale as if you were rolling like a wave up and over something. Coming to rest in your your half plank, scooping the belly in. So the shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are moving towards the floor. Yes, good job. Scooping the belly in. One more smooth, steady breath. And then gently on the exhale, coming back to your hands and knees, and then allowing the feet to come together and the knees to come out wide. And then you'll stretch your hips towards your heels, coming towards your child. Your option, if it's comfortable for you, you can have the hands reaching forward. If not, drape your hands alongside you so your fingers are coming towards your feet. That takes some of the pressure off of the shoulders. Wherever you are is exactly where you should be. Allowing the breath to be smooth and steady here. Maybe even gently rocking the forehead from side to side along the earth. Anything that would allow you to slow down, breath to slow down. One or two more breaths here on the earth. core, making that look very restful there. And then gently coming back forward, planting the hands, pulling back up towards your hands and knees. And then just taking the feet to one side and the hips to others so you can come and sit down. And then we'll take the legs out in front. So both legs long down the mat. And again here, if it feels like it's hard to sit upright right up on the sitting bones, you can always sit up on something like a block or a blanket or something. That is fine. If you feel pretty comfortable, then we can go from here. We'll inhale the arms parallel to the earth. And then on the exhale, hinging forward at your hips, reaching now somewhere on your legs. And maybe it's not the feet, that's totally fine. Maybe it's actually at your thighs or at your calves. Maybe the knees bend a little bit, but we're looking to keep the lower back pretty long. So belly coming towards the thighs, even if that means bending the knees a little bit. Once you feel out of room in the low spine, then on the exhale, you can allow the head and the neck to start to soften down, still trying to keep that connection between the belly and the thighs. Breathing smooth and steady here. Just calming things down. Steady rhythm. Gently on the inhale, allow the spine to drift up till you're back towards your sitting position. Then we'll fold the legs into just a comfortable seated position. So any kind of cross-legged position that you like is fine. Okay, and then from here, inhaling both arms up towards the sky. And then starting to tip over towards your right hand, finding the mat, and left arm reaching overhead. You can even use that right hand on the mat to push a little bit so that you can really lengthen through the side of the waist and the ribs on the left side. Sending the breath into that side of the rib cage as if you could expand outward. Long line from the fingers all the way down to your left hip. And then on the exhale, to change sides, sweep that left arm starting to come in front of you, as if you could draw a circle on the ground with your left hand reaching towards the front of the mat, towards your left, followed by your right, until you end up with your left hand to your left side and your right arm overhead. You just drew a circle on the floor. And again, on this side, maybe pushing a little bit into with the left hand so that you can really extend through the right, extending through the rib cage on the right side. Smooth, steady breath here. Right hip heavy on the mat. And then once again, coming forward, sweeping that right arm down towards the floor, creating an arc in front of you, this time stopping with both arms reaching forward. You just get a last little bit of stretch. If it feels like a lot on the shoulders, you can bend the elbows. That's fine. One more breath. And then gently inhaling to come back upright. And then stretching the legs out in front one more time. We're heading down towards our backs. So several options to get there. If you're ready to just go straight down, you can head right there. If you want a last little bit of core work, you'll inhale your arms parallel to the earth, and then use the belly scooping in and rolling down one piece at a time. You can also do this roll down with your knees bent. That takes a little more stress off the spine. However you got here, once you've arrived, stretching the legs long and inhaling the arms overhead. So if there's a lot of space between the fingers and the toes. Breathing smooth and steady here. One more round of breath. And gently floating the arms back down towards the earth, and then bending one knee at a time so that you can get your feet flat on the mat. Now you can take the feet fairly wide, almost as wide as the mat itself. And then choose some position that's comfortable for the arms. Maybe you just turn your palms up and the hands are still at your sides. Maybe you'd like to come into like a T shape with your arms or bend the elbows, maybe even come to a cactus shape. Whatever you choose, make sure it allows the head of your arm bone to rest comfortably on the floor. Once you have the arms, then starting to gently rock the knees back and forth as if you were making a windshield wiper motion, with both knees moving in the same direction. It doesn't have to be your deepest movement. Just take it what your body wants to do this evening. And the next time that the knees are moving over towards the left, allow them to come heavy that way and come towards the earth any amount that they want. Maybe now the head wants to look over towards the right, but doesn't have to. Just pay attention to your neck here. Just breathing deeply into this gentle kind of twist for a couple of breaths. We're using the inhale to change, facing the nose and the knees towards the ceiling. I'm going to gently allow the knees to come to the right and maybe the head to come to the left. But check in with your neck on this side, it might be different. Just slowing down the breath. And then inhaling, nose and knees towards the ceiling, coming back to center. And then last little bit, scooping both knees in towards your chest. You could decide to wrap your arms around the outside of the shins, or you could choose to hold underneath and hook more at your hamstrings. Wherever you end up, maybe there's a little bit of movement that wants to happen. Maybe some rocks from side to side, maybe even some circling motions. If you're circling, just make sure that you end up going both ways at some point in time. And once you feel pretty complete with that, allowing the feet to come back towards the floor. We're heading towards our final rest here. So finding some place again that's comfortable for the arms to land, any position that you like, and then finding some place comfortable for the legs. If you'd like to keep your knees bent, you can do that. Maybe walk your feet really wide and let the knees come together so you're not holding on. Or you can choose to extend your legs down the mat. You could also choose to put a little bolster or something underneath the legs. You can pad your head or your neck. These next few moments of rest are the synthesis of the practice. So allow yourself a moment to make it really comfortable and cozy for yourself, letting go of any conscious control of the breath, just really dropping in to some nourishing rest after the work that you did. And I'll allow the sound of my voice to fade away for a few moments, and then I'll call you back together. If you are happy and cozy as you are and you'd like to stay, please stay. If you are ready to come out, start with some gentle movements at your edges, fingers and toes. Gently, gradually making those movements larger, closer to your center. At some point, no rush, roll to one side and pause there, just allowing all your system to catch up with your new position. And from there, again, moving slowly, making your way back up towards your comfortable seat. Maybe still with the eyes closed or a soft gaze out in front of you. Something that allows you to keep the attention internal for a few moments longer. Finding someplace comfortable for your hands to land, maybe in your lap, maybe folded at your chest, maybe one hand on your heart, the other on top, or something else you choose. Taking these last few breaths to pull back into your body that feeling of heat. And heat doesn't always mean we move fast. It means that we move with intention and we stay with even a little bit of discomfort. That's how we burn away what we don't need to make room for what we'd like to see. As always, I thank you so much for coming together to share your practice with one another and with me. I wish you a lovely evening. Stay dry out there, stay safe. Hope to see you again. Namaste.